body was an outpost for ideas that didn't work. The nation failed and broken, invaded and then burned, and the crumbles and the ashes, they settled in a purse. Well, the ruins of an empire, the people we once were. We were limping up towards Lake Street. She motioned towards the church. So the hardest thing they asked me is, Amanda, does it hurt? 'Cause it's not pain, it's more like pressure on the edges of my eyes. I see scales and bloody feathers when I look into the light. And my password is be honest, and my network has evolved, and I can't guarantee I'll pick up every time that you call. Ain't it spooky when they all go away, and it's strange how they just disappear. Really sucks getting sick on the bus. It's even worse when the teenagers cheer. Ain't it funny how we all get by, but not the way that makes us laugh. When the lust burns off into handshakes and hugs, the end it comes down to the cash. I was calling from the car park when they kicked in the door. They pulled the pistols from their holsters, put the people on the floor. It's not the fear, it's the frustration, getting sick of being scared. Put your princess to her feet, made a handle from her hair. I was thinking about the progress, how much change is gonna come. I was hearing the announcements, I was running from the guns, and desperation fueled the dancers. There's a sadness in the sex. We lingered over dinner, ran out on the check, and our safe word is still stop it, stop it. And our style is self-involved, and I can't guarantee pick up every time that you call. And it's something how the people switch partners. Yeah, you just gotta wait your turn. It's really hard getting kicked in the heart. It's even worse watching big buildings burn. And it's strange how it all fades to black just when it starts to feel really nice. I was banging around your party trying to locate all the love and the light. Well, the speed had crested early, and then it ran its course. So I showered and got ready, and I started on my chores. It was rushing through my blood, it was coming from my pores. My heart was charging forward, I threw up off the porch. We were limping up towards Lake Street, she motioned towards the church. So the hottest thing they asked me is, Amanda, does it hurt? 'Cause it's not pain, it's more like pressure. Some ways that's much worse. The ruins of an empire, the people we once were. If revolution's really coming, then we'll all need to be well. So maybe it's just best if we both take care of ourselves. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Clayton. I'm extremely pleased to be here. Night 3 of the Here We Go Crazy tour opening for one of my absolute heroes, Mould. I grew up in suburban Minneapolis, and so I was a Who's Purdue fan. It was one of the first bands I was completely obsessed with. So it's a real honor. And it's been a long time, and with my age, I've realized that you're not going to win if you get into a volume fight with Bob. So this set is going to kind of welcome you in, you know? We will welcome you in, and the Bob Mould Band will pummel you in the face with their amazing music. Legendary music. Bob Mould, total legend. This guy, Nelson Devereaux, total legend also. He's brought his bag of tricks with him. And this next song is about another legend, a third legend. A guy named the Amarillo Kid. I don't know if any of you know him. Yeah. The Amarillo Kid, he's from Amarillo, Texas, but he had to move to Buffalo, New York before he became a legend, or actually even to get the nickname, because if you stay in Amarillo, everyone's the Amarillo Kid, you know? So he had to go to Buffalo where he became the Amarillo Kid, where he became a legend. Right after I wrote this song, I started playing it for people, and someone's like, hey, you know, down in Texas, we say Amarillo. And I said, yeah, I know that. But up in Buffalo, New York, they say all kinds of crazy shit. Anyways, this is his story. I was born down in the handle. I was brought up by the strap. When the devil starts to show up in your dreams, then it's hard to get your dreams back. And if I lost my sense of wonder, you can blame it on the banks. The scammers and the skimmers, they swim around together. Every dealer has a fish tank. The numbers never lie, but they also never tell the whole truth. Deanna's in the passenger side with the Buffalo Blues. She said the guys that she'll be meeting with won't be easily impressed if you hold things where you're coming from. Wonder why you left. Used to play first-person shooters. I spent days inside those games. The speed made my head like a cockpit computer till the wings came off the plane. I was deep in debt and desperate. I met some Hesher and his henchmen. Put on my only suit and I walked up to the interview. I applied for the position. When the whole thing finally happened, they flew me out to Buffalo, New York. The terms were much different than what we first discussed. I was grateful for the work. Deanna was the girl that used to ride around and wait in the car. The gig was pretty good. They just always need to know where you are. Well, they gifted me a CRV. It's a decent place to live. Pistol and a nickname. I'm the Amarillo Kid. Dispatch and deliver. It's tough to drive in winter weather. 30 minutes or the next one is free. Still feels like forever. Deanna, now I know that you were only there to watch me work. And I didn't see staying on just to maintain the way that we were. Well, the ashtray is the bathtub. There's a stovetop kitchenette. The wallpaper is jaundiced. And there's still a step ahead. Didn't think they'd have the wherewithal to hunt me down out west. I sold half of it in Wichita, wrapping up the rest. So darling, sit down on the bed, maybe have another hit. Listen to the legends, the Amarillo Kid. Listen to the legends, the Amarillo Kid. Dana, I don't get depressed anymore. Is it possibly December at the Delaware shore? Maybe missing numbers on the motel doors, the toy section at this drugstore. And otherwise I'm pretty much cured. I've been getting out of bed before noon now. Gonna find a new place pretty soon now. The whole thing's moving uptown, and I'm sorry about the way that I scared you. Sorry that I wasn't in touch since. Spend way too much time on people without any substance. And I decided that I'm gonna push forward. I'm committed to making a change, but you gotta remember I never go out in the rain. And it's been raining all day and my jacket got nicked from the coat check. And the curtains can't keep out the gray. These umbrellas that you get at the drugstore always blow the wrong way. A day and I don't drink nearly as much, 1 or 2 nights of the week at the most. I know I used to be such a monster. The city's still lousy with ghosts. And I'm sorry about that fight in the taxi. You know, that probably just wasn't my night. If you just agree to come see me, I can try to make it alright. And I decided that I'm gonna back off now. Heard you turn that old boy into a husband. Now you're out in the county hanging out with some people of substance. Dana, I'm done with the breakdowns, but the winter's pretty weird here at the shore. You never really told me what it was you cut me off for, and I'm still not sure. So I decided that I'd call and just check in, if I was good enough for you back then. You shouldn't be ashamed to bring me around to your new friends. I've been asking around for some sort of system to trust in. Maybe you could put me in touch with some people of substance. I spend way too much time on people without any substance. I spend way too much time on people without any substance. Thank you. So, today's an exciting day for me. I released a new record today. It's called Always Been. I'm really excited about it. I recorded it right here in LA. It's my LA record. I always wanted to make an LA record, and then I got out here and made the record, and I forgot that the studios tend to not have windows, so the LA part is mainly driving there and back. But so this song is kind of it's the first song on the record, and it's the song that kind of opened up the record for me, because I thought about this character that I wrote, not just this song about, but a lot of songs on the record about, but this one was the first one. And this guy is, the thing about he needs a job. He gets out of the service and he needs a job, and he decides to go for a job that he thought would always be interesting, which is to be a priest. And the only hang up on this thing is he doesn't believe in God. So, but it doesn't matter, you know? So he goes and becomes a priest, and it goes pretty well. He builds a congregation, he builds a church, he gets a wife. He's not a Catholic priest. He gets a lot of success. People are listening to him. People are going to him with their problems. And he's kind of acting out this role of the priest without ever believing. But it's working, and it's working, and it's working, until one day, God shows up. And God's pissed, and God fucks him up. And this song finds him kind of in the aftermath of that, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. He's living in his parents' summer house in the off-season in Delaware Shore, and that's where it picks up, and it goes like this. In the later afternoon, it sort of softens on the avenues. the remainder of the day, drinking off what's left of the glasses on the table. The couples get their checks and walk away. And I'll be here tomorrow and then every day that follows, till I see you later on this week. Will you come and pick me up when I get up off the bus? Will you help me bring my stuff out to the beach? When we met, I was the reverend. You were in the congregation. Didn't happen right away, but pretty soon. And I never had a calling, I just had a strong desire to be the one that stood up in the room. So when I was a child, I used to fixate on the chaplain, the way he brought those widows all to tears. That looked like a decent way to make a little living here. Gave myself to God for a few years. Built a chapel off the exit on the highway outside Harrisburg. There was all that new development back then. Parishioners would come to me with cakes and little pastries and ask me for my blessing once again. But I couldn't shake the feeling. I was faking all the faithfulness, and every single sermon was a fraud. Drifted through the rituals, prideful, high and pitiful, pissing off a petty, vengeful God. Pissing off a petty, vengeful God. Parents are both ancient now. I'm staying at their summer house. Clear out on the weekends when they come. To my sisters and her daughters on the fringe of Philadelphia, with their skinny cigarettes and snapping gum. But I'm grateful for the place to stay. I'm caddying on Saturdays. The money's not as good as it was when we were teenagers. Walk back from the golf course, cut through a couple backyards, try to keep my eyes pointed heavenward. In another prior life, the Reverend and his wife are sitting in the kitchen making plans. Unaware of all the mess the pressure in the flesh is capable of making in a man. And I never really fell, 'cause I was never quite convinced. I must admit I miss all the simplicity of a woman and a man. Though I also understand the reasons you no longer want to be with me. I can see why you no longer want to be with me. The devil came in hot. Someone called the cops. I explained to them how much it is you mean to me. The cuffs, they made a click as they wrapped around my wrists. Everybody's got some version of security. Somewhere there's a life where the Reverend has his wife, Jesus has his ministry in Galilee. But the sunset looks like blood from the windows of this bus, somewhere between Harrisburg and Bethany. Somewhere between Harrisburg and Bethany. Somewhere between Harrisburg and Bethany. Somewhere between Harrisburg and Bethany.
Very nice.
Sundown, it feels like I'm riding the train I'm on. Sundown, it feels like I'm riding the train I'm on. We used to post up for days in this place in the flats. She'd stare off into space and draw smokestacks on her placemat. She had a dwindling grace and a faith in the industry that never really made any sense to me. We were calling the place trying to come up with the funds. for a phone number friend in an idling car. She said, you know, I probably don't see myself here forever. For now, it's pretty much where we are. And I never really argued with her basic observations. I wasn't really in a confrontation back then. It was mostly just about sitting in the window, watching the flag out front, just twisting and twisting and twisting, twisting, and we mark where we've been with the scars on our skin. We can only sing the songs we've been taught to. Rachel recommended messing with the settings. She said it's better than settling for whatever they give you. Sundown, it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. Sundown, it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. Rachel was practical. She always carried matches. So she didn't have habits or rituals. She threw salt over her shoulder when they rang for last orders. She held her breath when they got up from the table. And it never really mattered that she was 12 years older, except for when we talked about the 1980s. So I was still showing up to modern European history. She was trying to hold on to her baby. She started out calling me her partner in crime. Neither one of us were supposed to be in the taverns. I had a suspended license and a court case coming up. The judge said he was seeing some patterns. She said at sundown it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. Then all at one sensation of speeding then sinking. Fridays making eyes at guys cashing their checks. And other forms of magical thinking. Sundown it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. Sundown, it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. They pulled me over 5 minutes from home. I went off to the workhouse for 38 days. When I got out, I drove out to my brother's in Denver. He got me a job at a golf course, and I decided to stay there. I heard she'd been living off more of the same. I guess she got with that guy that took IDs at the door. Must have been last winter when I finally tried to text her. The number I had didn't go through anymore. So I was a little bit surprised when Sam got in touch. Asked me to be here and told me what did it. It's my first trip back after 8 years in Denver. Drove in from the west. Man, the city looks different now. All those luxury lofts that they built from the old factories reminded me of her faith in the industry. Rachel did her best with the deal she'd been dealt. That's what I've got for a eulogy. Sundown, it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. Sundown, it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. Sundown, it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. Sundown, it feels like I'm riding a train I'm not on. So I said earlier that, thank you. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I've written a lot of songs about Minneapolis, but I've lived in New York, in Brooklyn, New York, for 25 years now. It's longer than I ever lived in Minneapolis. And I've started to get a little self-conscious about the fact that I only write songs about the place I grew up in and not the place I've lived longer. But New York's intimidating. It's intimidating to write about. I mean, Jay-Z does it, you know, Lou Reed. It feels like it's their territory, not mine, you know? So I started to think, like, maybe it kind of bugged me, so I thought maybe I'd kind of work up to it, right? You know, like, maybe I could start somewhere close by, and then, you know. So I thought about New Jersey, right? Here's the thing, though. There's this other songwriter, really good about doing Jersey stuff, you know? Yeah, so you don't want to step on John Bon Jovi's toes. This one starts in New Jersey anyway. It starts in a place called Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And it goes like this. I met Jessamine and Cherry Hill, dress all done in daffodils. Well, the sticker on her skateboard said speed kills, and yeah, I probably just did what it said. I only knew her for like 3 weeks straight, and that whole time we were wide awake. You know, Trent makes, the world takes. She had a spray painted over her bed. We used to hang around in her room, getting off on all the gloom and the doom, watching cavemen in the cartoons, playing xylophones made out of bones. She was sexy but still death obsessed. She said the bloodshed makes such a mess, but you really don't even have to market it. Yeah, it pretty much sells itself. I should have asked her before she departed, how did all these wars get started? Why do rival crews show up at the same party if they hate each other so much? It's like they're secretly in love. She says suspicion isn't wisdom. Don't the drones look just like doves? And there was something laying siege to her kingdom, but she never really said what it was. And the incense burned to ashes. The sunrise was unsure. Jessamine must have had some dreams, but she never really said what they were. She never really said what they were. We kinda ended how we began. Jessamine meeting a man, liking that man just a little bit more than the boy she had before. Haven't really seen her since. I guess that new guy was some kind of prince. I guess his castle was a front for a fence, and the whole damn city got warm. We were trying to ride out that storm, 'cause the rain is inconsistent, the thunder's insincere, makes a big commotion, but eventually it clears. I went out to San Francisco. Some sailors stole my shirt. I was sitting on the passenger side of the taxi the first time that I heard. She was probably speeding. No one else was hurt. Jessamine must have had some dreams, but she never really said what they were. She never really said what they were. Sister has a daughter, doesn't look much like her, looks more like the father she won't see. She's mostly on her phone these days. She's got a couple friends her age, some secrets that she died to try to keep. When I'm staying in their guest room, I can hear her in the next room, whispers in the silence and the sighs. She doesn't eat much breakfast, a single slice of toast at most, watches from the corners of her eyes. And there's crumbs around the corners of her mouth. You can hear the highway from their house. The traffic sounds like water in a river rushing south. We'll never win this war, but maybe we can wait it out. We'll never win this war, but maybe we can wait it out. Mother is my sister, she's a fighter, but she's tired now. Third shift's such a bitch to decent sleep. On Sundays she puts perfume on and waltzes with a vacuum on, sucks up the destruction of the week. In the kitchen there's a radio, she sings along the one she knows, remembers back when some of these were new. When the girls all chose a guy from the dances at the Y, felt like that was what you're supposed to do. Now those choices seem a little grim, violent, wild, or disengaged and dim. The highway goes forever, but your fun will fence you in. paying bills and stubbing out generic super slims. The years they put the yellow in her hair and cheek and skin. Her husband was a contractor, a hunter and a fly fisher. Never raised a hand, he just withdrew. So far inside his head that you would barely even notice him. Ghost that's usually in the other room. Eventually they started sleeping separately. Eventually it didn't even harsh. Last winter he moved back to his brother's house. Eventually he stopped going to work. Now she hasn't seen a check in 7 months. And they're living off of credit cards and crumbs. She's pretty sure her daughter has been beaten up with boys. We'll never win this war, but maybe we won't get destroyed. She's wishing that that highway wouldn't make that goddamn noise. She doesn't really trust her daughter's friends. She's happy that I'm helping out with rents. So we stay up late and talk about the way it was before. We can maybe wait it out, but we'll never win this war. We can maybe wait it out, but we'll never win this war. Maybe wait it out, but we'll never win this war. We can maybe wait it out, but we'll never win this war.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. That's another new one from my new record. Came out today. It's at the merch table if anyone's interested. I'm really proud of this one. So I wanted to say that when I was preparing to go down this tour, I was thinking about how excited I was about Mould. I said he's a hero of mine. And I thought about something that happened when I was a young man. In the mid-'80s, I went to see Husker Du at the First Avenue Club in my hometown of Minneapolis. And Bob went into Celebrated Summer, which is one of my favorite songs. And I was so moved that I did a stage dive. Which is the first time I'd ever done that. It was, but the music just moved me to do it. So all I'm saying is that I hope whatever it is, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but however the music hits you tonight, I hope it gives you that much joy. As that in your mind you're jumping off or something. Anyways, this song's about punk rock, and when I first got into punk rock, I was listening to music and I thought my enemies were going to be like, you know, the enemies of punk rockers would be cops, hair metal, bad news skinheads, American foreign policy, that kind of thing. Turns out parents, total enemies of punks, and you know what the biggest one was in the end? Fucking rules. Too many rules, and that's what this song's about. It's called It's Never Been a Fair Fight. I was talking to my friend Vanessa about this, and I wrote this song. I met Vanessa right in front of her building. She was vague and dazed and drowning. She says she's got a new man, and he's in a new band, and they got a new sound. Yeah, well, hardcore's in the eye of the beholder. I got a broken heart from 1989. I was holding my head in my hands from the heat. There were elbows in my eyes. Vanessa said that there's threats that connect us, flags and wars we should never accept. Angelo said that there's snakes in the smoke from the cigarettes. Happiness and all that concerns. He said it's mostly about what you wear to the show. Think the scene's gonna fall apart pretty soon. Heard a song that I liked on the radio. If things change quickly, just remember I still love you. And I'll circle around the block tonight between 9 and 10 o'clock tonight. If you're still standing there, I'll take that as a sign. You agree it was a sucker punch. Punk is not a fair fight. It's never been a fair fight. It's never been a fair fight. Said there weren't any rules, but there were so many goddamn rules. Said that they'd be cool, but there were so many goddamn rules. And some industrial vampire had us scratched into his skin. Someone got something from the store down the street. Someone got their head kicked in. If the cops shut down the show, just remember that we tried. And I'll meet you at that place we crashed in 1999. If you're still staying there, I'll take that as a sign that the drugs, they all ganged up on you. It's never been a fair fight. It's never been a fair fight. It's never been a fair fight. Yeah, I was at service. I didn't know what to say. Everybody's talking about his joie de vivre. Guess I didn't see it that way. I saw him snap off the filters. I guess he liked how it burned. Everybody's talking about his song and his laughter. I guess I'm still not sure. Yeah, I knew he was hurting. I was not exactly walking in bright lights. Yeah, I knew it could happen. It's never been a fair fight. It's never been a fair fight. It's never been a fair fight. I took Clayton as a name the day they said that I was saved. So the Lord just reached his hands out for me out of clay. No, I've had some problems, but I'm not the one to blame. The Lord made me this way. The Lord made me this way. I've been seeing this one woman. I've been seeing her at bars. Her name's actually Emily. On stage they call her Star. The drinks go down so easy, but the rest is pretty hard. We can change the names they give us, but we're stuck with who we are. Stuck around after the closing. The barman locked the door. I help him gather glasses up. He lets me sweep the floor. I don't do too much talking, but he pours a couple more. Summer's long since over, but I stuck around the shore. I bet Dana knows a bit of it. I bet she disapproves. I bet she's at her husband's house. I bet it's nice and new. 2 years ago I finally took the stone out of my shoes. Now I'm walking straight and true. I forgave myself for you and for Daniel in the motel, in the bathtub where he died. Like he didn't know what had hit him. His face still looked surprised. And I went through his pockets, mixed what was his with mine. But I should have closed his eyes. I should have closed his eyes. I took Clayton as a name the day they said that I was saved. So the Lord just reached his hands out for me out of clay. I told Emily I'm broke right now, but I'm not the one to blame. The Lord made me this way. Lord made me this way. Lord made me this way. I'm Craig Finn. The Lord made me this way. That's Nelson's overall. He made him that way too. Thanks so much. much for coming out. Thanks for celebrating my record release day with me. Really excited. Thanks for being a part of it. 5 minutes up next. God bless you.